You know that quote, all words are pegs to hang ideas on. Henry Ward Beecher.
Yeah, I know the one.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Like, how many ideas are we missing just because we don't have the right pegs?
Interesting way to put it.
Well, welcome to the deep dive. You send us sources and we dig into them to pull out the key stuff.
And this is designed especially for you, the learner. Someone wants to, get the insights quickly, thoroughly, but without feeling totally overwhelmed.
Exactly. So today we're diving into some excerpts from 504 Absolutely Essential Words, the 6th edition.
Right. In this book, it's not just a list. It's structured really cleverly, I think, to build your vocabulary actively.
How so?
Well, it uses definitions, obviously, but also example sentences, fill in the blanks, matching exercises, even creative tasks. And importantly, it looks at word origins, etymology, and how words connect.
Gotcha. So our mission today isn't just reciting words. We want to unpack the actual strategies for learning vocab that are embedded in these lessons.
And maybe find some surprising language facts along the way from those word histories.
Yes. And ultimately give you, our learner, some solid, actionable ways to expand your own vocabulary. Ready to jump in?
Let's do it. Lesson 1.
Okay, lesson 1. What words are we starting with?
We've got abandon, keen, jealous, tact, oath, vacant, hardship, gallant, data, unaccustomed, bachelor, and qualify. A decent starting set.
And the book gives examples for each.
Yeah, and they're pretty direct. Like for abandon, it says, when Roy abandoned his family, the police went looking for him. Simple, clear picture.
Okay, yeah, that works. Or hardship.
The example is, the fighter had to face many hardships before he became champion. You sort of feel the struggle in that sentence.
Right. But what really caught my eye was the spotlight on section for abandon.
Oh yeah, the origin story.
It comes from French, meaning to put under another's control, which is, well, it's not quite the same as just leaving something, is it?
No, it adds a layer, doesn't it? Like relinquishing control or responsibility, it's more nuanced.
And then it links it, or hints at a link, to ban.
And suggests looking up connections to bandit, contraband. It's subtly teaching you that words aren't isolated islands,
It's like planting little seeds.
Okay, and there's an exercise right away.
Yep. A words in use matching thing. Connect the word to its definition. Just a quick check to see if it's sinking in.
Makes sense. Okay, moving on then. Lesson 2.
Lesson 2 brings in words with a bit more, maybe, emotional flavor. Conceal, dismal, frigid, inhabit, numb, peril, recline, shriek, sinister, tempt, wager.
Definitely more evocative.
Yeah.
Like dismal.
The example, when the weather is so dismal, I sometimes stay in bed all day. You immediately get that gloomy feeling.
Or shriek. The maid shrieked when she discovered the corpse.
Yeah.
Pretty vivid.
Very vivid. And this lesson's spotlight on is great too for sinister.
The Latin connection.
Exactly. Originally meaning on the left. And because of old superstitions linking the left side with bad luck, well, the meaning shifted. It's amazing how those old beliefs get baked right into the language. A little cultural history lesson hidden in a vocabulary word.
Totally. And then the exercise for this lesson, the fill in the blanks.
The spooky cemetery one.
Yeah. At midnight, I heard a wild shriek. I thought I saw the grave open. It uses shriek, numb, peril, sinister, all in this creepy little story.
That context really helps lock the words in place, doesn't it? Much better than just a list.
For sure. Contextual learning.
All right, lesson 3 seems to shift gears a bit. Quantity, change, influence.
Yeah, words like minimum, scarce, annual, persuade, vital, majority, assemble, explore, topic, debate, evade, probe, reform.
Okay, how are the examples here?
They start connecting to sort of broader concepts, like studies show that adults need a minimum of 6 hours sleep. That's practical info linked to the word. And the words in use passage is about a baseball strike. It uses words like persuade and minimum wage in that context.
So it shows how this vocabulary helps you understand, well, real world stuff, even news or history.
Exactly. These aren't just abstract words. They're tools for understanding discussions and events.
Makes sense. What about lesson 4? Physical characteristics, abstract concepts.
Right. We get dense, utilize, humid, theory, descend, circulate, enormous, predict, vanish, tradition, rural, burden, campus.
Some visual ones in there again. Dense.
The dense leaves on the trees let in a minimum of sunlight. Easy to picture.
Or descend.
If you let the air out of a balloon, it will have to descend. Simple physics, simple example.
And they bring in theory, too.
Yeah. And they even mention Einstein's theory. So it connects the word to significant intellectual ideas.
That's good. It elevates the word beyond just a simple definition. Any notable passages?
There's a short bit about a shaker work group that uses rural and burden in a kind of everyday work context. Again, grounding the words.
Okay, let's jump ahead a bit. The outline mentions lesson 6 and word review #1. What's happening there?
So the review sections are crucial. They bring back words you've already learned, like vacant, keen, descend, humid, abandon, lots of them. It's all about reinforcement.
Spaced repetition, kind of.
Exactly. And the spotlight on here is for defect, which is interesting because it highlights how one word can be different parts of speech.
Ah, like a noun versus a verb.
Precisely. Defect as a noun means a flaw, but as a verb, it means to abandon your country or cause defect from one country to another. Shows the flexibility of words.
That's a really important point for learners and the review exercises themselves.
They test nuances, like you have to choose between similar words in a sentence.
It was a dense, typical day in July. Hot and sticky.
Forcing you to think about the precise meaning. Is it just any hot day or a typical hot day for July?
Right. And there's also an opposites matching exercise. Another good way to solidify meaning by thinking about contrasts.
Okay, so pulling it all together, what are the big takeaways for you, the learner, from looking at how this book works? Well, first, it's the systematic approach. It's not random. Introduce, reinforce, use in context, test in different ways. It's layered.
Yeah, it feels very deliberate. And those spotlight on sections about etymology.
They're not just fluff. Knowing the history, like sinister meaning left, or the root of abandon, it actually creates stronger mental hooks for the word. It adds depth.
It makes it more memorable than just a definition, like unlocking a word's backstory.
Exactly. And the words in use passages constantly show you these words doing things in sentences and paragraphs. It makes the learning feel practical, not just academic.
So if you're trying to build your vocabulary, the advice here seems to be, don't just memorize the definition. Pay attention to the word's origin, its connections.
And crucially, the context. See how it's used. Those details aren't extra. They're actually part of effective learning.
It's kind of amazing, really. Just by looking closely at these basic-ish words, you start to see bits of history, culture, how language changes.
Each word really does have a story embedded in it. And exploring that story deepens your understanding.
Right. So to wrap up this deep dive into 504 absolutely essential words, we've seen a structured method for learning.
The value of looking at word origins and connection.
The importance of context.
And just how interconnected language is. These words are the foundation for bigger ideas.
Absolutely. Which leaves us with a final thought, maybe a question for you, the learner.
Go on.
Well, if just these few words hold these kinds of origins and connections, imagine the stories hidden in the rest of the English language.
Yeah. And maybe thinking about how could paying more attention to those histories, those nuances, actually change how you read, how you write, how you communicate every day.
Something to chew on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Hope it gives you some fresh ideas for building that word power.
Welcome to the deep dive.
Hello.
Today, we're doing something a bit different. Actually, I think it's really useful.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, one of you sent in some material excerpts from a book called Advanced Everyday English. And we thought, okay, let's dig into some of these phrases.
Sounds like a good plan. So what's the mission?
Well, the idea is to get beyond just the basic definitions.
Okay.
We want to get a real feel for how these common phrases are actually used, day to day.
The nuances.
Exactly. Those little things that can completely change what something means.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's not just about vocab lists, is it?
Not at all.
And looking at this source, it seems pretty rich. It's got dialogues, exercises.
Explanations, examples.
Right, showing how words pop up in conversation and in writing.
Yeah.
It looks quite practical.
It really does. So for you, the learner, think of this as maybe a bit of a shortcut, a way to understand and maybe start using more advanced, natural-sounding English.
Whether you're, say, prepping for a meeting.
Yeah, or trying to catch up on terms in a specific field, or maybe you're just curious about the language itself.
We've picked out some examples that seem particularly, insightful.
Okay, so maybe we should start with how the book itself is set up, the learning approach.
Sure. It looks like it's structured into 9 chapters.
Okay.
And each chapter has 3 lessons inside it.
Great.
And the book suggests a pace, like reading 1 lesson a week.
1 a week? Okay. That sounds manageable.
Yeah. And then doing a revision after you finish each chapter sort of reinforces it.
And it has pictures, too. Illustrations.
It does, yeah. Little visual aids, which can be helpful.
But the key thing seems to be the audio, right? There's a CD.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It comes with an audio CD, and the book really emphasizes listening to the dialogues.
To hear the words in context.
Exactly. After you study a chapter, you listen to the related dialogues to really help your understanding stick.
Makes sense. You hear how it actually sounds.
And what's interesting is the advice it gives. It basically says, don't worry if you don't get it all first time just listening.
Right. That feeling of, what did they just say, is normal.
Precisely. It presents that initial confusion as, part of the process.
So repeated listening is key.
Yeah, listening while following along in the text. It really highlights that it's often a gradual thing, this language learning. Familiarization.
Oh, okay, cool. So should we dive into some actual phrases then?
Let's do it. Where do you want to start?
Well, one jumped out at me from a job ad example.
Okay.
It said, outgoing sales assistant required, must be on the ball.
On the ball.
Classic.
Yeah. So what does that really signal there? Alert. Efficient.
Both, I'd say. It means you need to be sharp, quick, attentive, not missing things.
Like someone literally keeping their eye on the ball in a game.
Exactly. That kind of idea. Proactive, aware, responsive. Especially important in sales, I guess.
Makes sense. And that same ad, it went on. In the long run, you'll pick up more clients if you adopt a more outgoing attitude. Okay, 2 more good ones there. In the long run.
Meaning, eventually, over time.
Yeah, thinking about the future benefits, not just the immediate situation. So being sociable now pays off later.
And pick up clients.
That just means to gain or acquire them. The up sort of suggests gradually over time you accumulate clients.
Right. You don't just get them all at once.
Usually not, no.
Okay, then there was this sentence. The place needed doing up, but it wasn't that which put us off going for it. The outgoings were outrageous.
Lots packed in there. So doing up a place.
That's renovating, right? Redecorating.
Yep, giving it a makeover, fixing it up.
But that wasn't the deal breaker. It was the outgoings. What are those?
Expenses, the regular costs, the money you have to pay out each month or year.
Like bills, running costs.
Exactly. And here they were outrageous.
Meaning really, really high.
Way too high, yeah. Excessive. And notice, put us off.
Yeah, that means discouraged them. Made them decide against it.
Precisely. It dissuaded them from buying the place.
It's interesting at how outgoing itself pops up again, but with different meanings.
Ah, yes, good point. The book mentions the outgoing president.
That just means the one who's leaving office.
Exactly. The one whose term is ending. The example about the whole town seeing them off really highlights it's about departure from a position.
Okay. And then there's outgoing mail.
Simple one. That. Mail to be sent out.
As opposed to incoming.
Right. The outgoing tray versus the incoming tray. Very clear contrast.
Okay, let's shift gears. What about off the record? That's a common one.
Oh yeah, very common. It means unofficially, confidentially.
Like, don't quote me on this.
Pretty much. What I'm telling you now isn't for public knowledge or official reporting.
The book gives examples, right? Like a mortgage consultant.
Yeah, giving some candid advice, maybe bending the official line slightly off the record, or stressing before a meeting, look, this part is off the record.
And the opposite is on record.
Exactly. That's the official, publicly stated position or fact.
Like the example of the interviewer asking the prime minister about something they said on record before.
Precisely. Holding them accountable for their official statements. It's a really important distinction in journalism, politics, business.
Definitely. Okay, another one that seemed a bit tricky. Go by.
Ah, yeah. Go by. The book explains it as relying on something you've heard or seen, but often with a hint that it might not be totally accurate.
So, judging based on possibly unreliable info, like gossip?
Kind of, yeah. The example given is you can't go by what he comes out with.
Implying he might exaggerate or not be truthful.
Exactly. It suggests his statements aren't a reliable basis for judgment.
Interesting. So it's different from go by the book.
Oh, completely different. Go by the book means sticking strictly to the rules. No deviation.
Right. Two uses of go by, totally different meanings.
That's English phrasal verbs for you.
Tell me about it. Okay, what about brush up on?
That's a useful one. It just means to refresh or improve your knowledge of something.
Something you maybe knew before but have gotten rusty on.
Exactly. Like the examples, brushing up on your Spanish before a holiday.
Or brushing up on general knowledge for a pub quiz.
Yeah, very relatable. Revising or improving a skill or knowledge area.
Okay, let's talk personality. The book contrasts touchy and thick-skinned.
Right, so touch.
Reverse sensitive, gets upset easily.
Yep. easily offended or irritated.
Whereas thick-skinned is the opposite.
Right. Not easily bothered by criticism or insults. They can take it.
And the example dialogue uses go along with.
Yeah, where someone says, Jane's touchy, but her sister is thick-skinned, and the other person replies, oh, I wouldn't go along with that.
Meaning, I don't agree with that.
Exactly. Go along with here just means to agree or concur.
Got it. Then there's cliché. We all know what that is, sort of.
We do, but it's good to define it. It's basically an overused phrase or opinion.
Something that's lost its impact because it's said so often.
Precisely. It often sounds a bit tired or unoriginal. Like the football manager example, always using the same old lines after a match.
Yeah, you hear the same things again and again.
Though sometimes cliches are cliches because they contain a common truth. Like the example, what you get out of life depends on what you put into it. Still, using too many can sound lazy.
Okay, layout. This one seems to have a few meanings.
It does. It's quite versatile. First, it can mean to present something clearly.
Like information.
Yeah, like laying out your proposals in a report, making them easy to understand. Systematically presenting something.
Or it could be physical, laying things out on a table.
Exactly. Arranging items so you can see them clearly, like sorting through papers.
And then there's design, like the layout of a building.
Right. Layout can mean to design or plan the arrangement of something, like a garden, a room, or even a town center. And the noun is layout.
The book mentions poor layout causing confusion.
Yeah, like in a shop or website. If the layout is bad, people get lost.
And there's one more meaning, colloquial, about money.
Ah, yeah, the informal one. To lay out money means to spend it, often a fair bit, and maybe reluctantly.
Like the example of the wife asking the husband how much he had to lay out on car repairs.
Exactly that. Paying for something, often unexpectedly.
Okay, about go about.
Two main senses here, too, really. First is about approach. How you go about doing something.
Like tackling a problem.
Yeah. Often used with how, like, I don't know how to go about telling him he's fired. It's about the method or procedure for dealing with something difficult.
And the second meaning?
Is about circulating or spreading, like a rumor going about.
Or maybe a virus.
Yeah, there's a nasty bug going about, that kind of thing.
Got it. Keep someone posted. That sounds like useful office speak.
It is, but used more widely, too. It just means keep someone updated.
Give them the latest information as things change.
Exactly. I'll keep you posted on the amendments, or keep me posted on your progress. Very common, very useful.
Okay, let's dip into some business finance terms. Break even.
Right. This means you reach a point where your costs and income are equal.
So no profit, but also no loss.
Precisely. You've covered your cost, but haven't made anything extra.
Like a new business hoping just to break even in year one.
Yeah. Or maybe during a recession, a company feels lucky just to break even.
Makes sense. And related to maybe not breaking even is having a backlog.
Ah, the dreaded backlog, yes. That's a buildup of work that hasn't been dealt with yet.
Like a pile of paperwork on your desk.
Exactly. Or a backlog of orders to fulfill, or even a backlog of patients waiting for appointments. It implies delay and being behind schedule.
Okay. Now for a more colorful one. Rub someone up the wrong way.
Yeah, that's a good idiom. It means to annoy or irritate someone.
Often unintentionally, like petting a cat the wrong way makes it hiss.
Exactly that image. You do or say something that just jars with them, irritates them, without you necessarily meaning to.
Okay, come through. Another versatile one.
It is. First meaning, survive a tough time.
Like coming through an illness, or the book mentions hardships in the army.
Right. Enduring and surviving something difficult.
What else?
It can mean progressing through training or development. Like young players coming through the academy system at a football club.
Okay, emerging successfully.
Yes. It can also mean something becoming evident or apparent.
Like someone's true feelings.
Yeah, his reluctance really came through in the meeting. Or maybe her nasty streak came through eventually.
And finally, related to things like documents.
Right. When something you've applied for finally arrives or gets processed, my visa finally came through. Often linked to delays caused by a...
Backlog.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My visa was delayed because of the backlog, but it finally came through.
It all connects. Okay, up to scratch. What's the scratch?
Haha, good question. It just means up to the required standard. Satisfactory.
So if something is not up to scratch...
It's substandard. Not good enough. Below expectations.
Okay. Then there's give someone stick or get stick. Sounds a bit aggressive.
It's click wheel, yeah. It means to tease or criticize someone persistently.
Like teasing your friends. or serious criticism?
Can be both. Depends on context. Your mates might give you stick about a bad haircut, which is lighthearted. But a politician might get stick or come in for stick from the press, which is serious criticism.
Gotcha. And try it on.
That means testing the limits, trying to get away with something you probably shouldn't.
Seeing what someone will let you do.
Exactly. Pushing boundaries to see if there are consequences, like a child trying it on with a parent.
Okay. And wind someone up, is that like annoying them?
Yes, but usually deliberately. Teasing someone to provoke a reaction, often for amusement.
Winding them up like a clockwork toy until they react.
Kind of, yeah. And sometimes, if you wind someone up or just misunderstand something, you might get hold of the wrong end of the stick.
Meaning you completely misunderstand the situation.
Totally. You've grasped the wrong idea entirely. It's a great idiom for misunderstanding.
It is. Okay, go round. Or go around. This seems to have loads of meanings.
It really does. Let's see. Moving from place to place, obviously.
Like visiting people.
Yeah. Or a rumor circulating, like go about.
Okay.
It can also mean treating someone badly. Like the example, you shouldn't go around treating people like dogs' bodies.
What's a dog's body?
Someone who has to do all the boring, menial, unpleasant jobs that nobody else wants.
Okay, so don't treat people badly. What else for go around?
It can mean deliberately annoying someone, similar to wind someone up.
Right.
And also, crucially, whether there's enough of something to be shared among everyone.
Like, are there enough cakes to go around?
Exactly. Or not enough money to go around.
And the book mentions a parent telling a kid not to go around with someone else.
Yeah, that means don't associate with them, don't spend time with them, often implies disapproval of the other person.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot for one phrasal verb.
It is. Context is everything.
Definitely. Now, have it in one. Sounds a bit strange.
It's colloquial again. It means someone possesses a surprising quality or ability you didn't expect.
Usually used like, wow, I didn't know he had it in him.
Exactly that. Expressing surprise at someone's unexpected capabilities or actions. Maybe they suddenly perform really well, or they stand up for themselves unexpectedly.
But that's different from have it in for someone.
Oh, completely different. Have it in for someone means you really dislike them and are determined to cause them trouble or make them suffer.
Like the boss who has it in for an employee, looking for mistakes.
Precisely. One is surprise at hidden depths. The other is targeted malice.
Big difference. Okay, cocky.
Just means overconfident, arrogant, too sure of yourself.
Usually negative.
Almost always, yeah. A cocky attitude isn't generally seen as a good thing, thinking you're better than you are.
Right. Bog down or get bogged down. What's that about?
Think of getting stuck in a bog, like a mud. It means progress is stopped or slowed down.
By too much work or too much information.
Both. You can get bogged down in paperwork, meaning you can't get through it. Or you can get bogged down in details, meaning you lose sight of the main point because there's too much confusing information. The marketing example likely shows customers getting confused and progress stalling.
Okay, stuck in the metaphorical mud. Up and coming.
That describes someone or something likely to become successful or popular soon.
Like an up-and-coming actor or band.
Exactly. Or maybe an up-and-coming neighborhood or fashion trend. Shows potential for future success.
And get going.
Simple one. Means hurry up, start moving, or leave. Colloquial.
Like, come on, let's get going.
Yeah, though the book notes that if you're telling someone else directly, get a move on is offered preferred. Get going is more like suggesting we start.
Got it. Now, the book uses some examples to tie these together, right? Like the football manager.
Yeah, that's a really nice touch. Ted Davies, the manager, the story shows him starting as a dog's body.
Doing all the grunt work.
Right. And he used to go round with the chairman's son.
Associate with him.
He got a lot of stick.
Criticism or teasing?
Was seen as a cocky lad.
Bit arrogant.
But eventually found his place, felt in his element as a manager.
That really helps see how the phrases work in a narrative.
Absolutely. Makes them much more memorable.
And there's a news report example, too.
Yes, using things like the outgoing home secretary.
I'm needing the job.
A backlog of passport applications.
Big delays.
Warning people not to go by scare stories.
Don't rely on unreliable rumors.
Mentioning decisions still being up in the air.
Uncertain, undecided.
And promising to keep listeners posted.
Keep them updated. It really shows how common these are in everyday news.
It does. And another bit about MPs needing to brush up on languages.
Refresh their skills.
And how few up-and-coming politicians can actually get by in another language.
Manage basic communication. Yeah, these examples are great.
And there's the exercises, the choose the correct word type things.
Which probably introduce even more words like scapegoat, hardship.
Exactly. At stake, pencil in, baffled, understatement. They use the exercises to embed the learning and subtly introduce more vocabulary.
It seems like a really comprehensive approach.
It really does. And the sheer number of phrases listed later in the book, I mean, just skimming, get the gist, ask after, over the top, deep down, once in a blue moon.
Wow. Have a lot on one's plate. Keep a low profile. Shrug
A
off.
foregone conclusion. Jump on the bandwagon, nip it in the bud.
By no stretch of the imagination, a stumbling block, the final straw.
Way up, miss the boat, boil down, stick out like a sore thumb.
Okay. Point taken. There's a lot in there.
An absolute mountain of everyday useful English.
So wrapping this up then, what's the big takeaway for you, the learner?
Well, hopefully seeing this selection shows just how important understanding these common phrases is.
Yeah, it's not just about grammar rules or single words. It's about these chunks of language.
Exactly. For really effective communication and just for understanding what's going on around you in English, you need to grasp these.
Getting these nuances right can lead to those aha moments, can't it?
Absolutely. Suddenly, a conversation or an article makes much more sense. You understand the subtext, the implication.
It adds those extra layers beyond just the literal meaning.
Totally.
So we'd really encourage you, the learner, to, start noticing these.
Yeah, actively listen for them. In conversations, on TV, in podcasts.
You might be surprised how often the phrases we talked about and others like them just pop up.
Definitely. Language is, it's alive. It's constantly changing and being used in these subtle ways.
And understanding these everyday bits and pieces really does unlock a deeper connection, a deeper knowledge.
Well said. Which maybe leads to a final thought for people to consider.
Go on.
What other everyday English phrases have you encountered that make you stop and think, what does that really mean? Or why do they say it like that?
That's a great question. Maybe noticing those is the next step in your own learning journey.
Could be the perfect starting point for your own deep dive. Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take a set of sources and really dig in to pull out the key knowledge for you.
And today, our focus is squarely on this PDF. Situational English Everyday Situations. It's packed with useful stuff for daily English interactions.
Yeah, our mission here is basically to extract those really practical phrases, the things that will genuinely help boost your confidence when you're speaking English day to day.
It's got a really clear structure, which helps. Two main parts. Part one dives into specific situations you'll likely encounter.
Things like travel trains, buses, cars.
Exactly. Being a tourist, checking into hotels, restaurants, pubs, the usual suspects, shopping too.
Services. Like the post office?
Post office, bank, hairdressers, yep. And then there's the social side, being a guest, hosting people, even work situations, meetings, and language classes. It's pretty thorough.
Okay, and part two?
Part two zooms in on social interactions themselves. So meeting people, saying goodbye properly, making conversation small talk, basically.
The essential skills.
Yeah, definitely. Telephoning personal and business calls. How to help people. How to thank them, planning your free time, making requests politely.
Which can be tricky sometimes.
It can. Also, social news, apologizing, those little short remarks we use all the time without thinking. Advice, social comments, being tactful.
Tact is important.
Very. And even some health-related phrases, plus a vocabulary section at the end.
So it really covers a huge amount of ground. The idea is that anyone wanting to get better at everyday English communication can find something useful here, right? Those aha moments.
That's the goal, to pull out those key phrases and maybe some of the underlying principles for you.
Okay, let's jump into part one then. Those common scenarios, starting with traveling. The guide kicks off with train travel.
Right, and it gives specific examples, like if you need train times to, say, Cambridge, it suggests asking, could you tell me the times of trains to Cambridge, please?
It sounds quite polite, more so than just, what time's the Cambridge train?
Exactly. That, could you tell me, and the please, it softens it. Very typical for, certainly British English requests.
And if you're not sure if you need to change trains.
A simple do I need to change works perfectly, gets you that key info.
It also covers journey length, right? How long does it take?
Yep, vital for planning. And tickets. Understanding the difference between a period return and a day return.
Ah, yes. Period return for coming back another day.
And day return for same-day travel. So you'd ask, how much is a period return? Or just, A day return to Cambridge, please, knowing that terminology helps.
And once you're actually on the train.
Useful things like asking about food. Is there a buffet service on the train? Or just double-checking you're on the right one. Excuse me, is this the right train for Cambridge?
Saves potential stress later. I like the slightly indirect way it suggests asking fellow passengers if they're going to the same place.
Which one's that?
Excuse me, are you getting off at Cambridge by any chance? It feels less demanding than a direct question.
That's a good point. It reflects that slightly indirect style you sometimes find. Polite, not assuming.
Like asking the guard, could you tell me when we're nearly there, please? It's asking for help without being pushy.
Exactly. Now moving on to buses, similar practical stuff, like how often do the buses to the city center run, or the crucial one? What time is the last bus back?
Definitely need that one sometimes. And for tickets.
You can just say, city center please, is it cheaper to get a return? Nice and efficient. Combines destination and fare query.
And if you're unsure about the route, maybe to a specific place.
Excuse me, does this bus go to the hospital? Essential if you're in an unfamiliar town.
And again, asking the driver for help. Could you tell me when to get off, please? Makes navigating new routes much easier.
Then there's car travel. Mostly social phrases here. Offering someone a ride, would you like a lift?
Standard politeness, and if you're getting the lift.
Could you drop me off here, please? Clear and polite indication.
Or confirming pickup times. We'll pick you up at 7. Sets the expectation.
And for those inevitable moments when you get a bit lost.
Happens to the best of us.
Excuse me, I'm lost. Is this the right road for Stratford? Or if you've got a map, could you show me where I am on the map, please? Really useful fallback questions.
Okay, so that's basic travel covered. What about being a tourist? Asking for directions seems key here.
Absolutely. Finding the town center. Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to the town center? Or the tourist information? Excuse me, could you tell me where the tourist information center is? Standard stuff, but crucial.
Interestingly, the guide also tells you what to say if you can't help someone.
Yes, the polite refusal. I'm afraid I can't help you. I'm a stranger here myself. Much better than just shrugging, isn't it?
Definitely. And the universal question, excuse me, are there any public toilets near here? Always good to know.
Also, how to respond if someone asks about your trip duration. I'm just here for the day. Simple, clear.
Accommodation is a big one for tourists. At the tourist information.
You might ask for recommendations. Could you recommend a reasonably priced hotel or bed and breakfast? Adding reasonably priced is helpful guidance.
Good tip. And then checking distance. How far is it from here? Plus, asking for directions.
Could you give me directions, please? And clarifying if you're walking. No, I'm on foot. Important distinction.
What if you need the directions written down?
Just ask. Could you write it down for me, please? Very handy if you struggle with spoken directions in a new place.
It also covers broader planning, like asking about holidays in Wales or seeking specific recommendations. What would you recommend me to visit?
Yeah, tapping into local knowledge and checking if something's nearby. Is it within walking distance? Maybe referring to that church someone mentioned.
Or hiring bikes. Do you have bicycles for hire?
And the important etiquette question before taking photos in certain places, is photography allowed in here? Always best to check.
Okay, let's move into the hotel scenario. Making a reservation first.
Simple start. I'd like to make a reservation, please. Then you specify your needs.
Right, a single room for 2 nights? Or maybe a double room with ensuite bathroom.
Or a twin-bedded room with shower. It covers the main types. And asking about specifics like a room with a view of the sea, if that's important to you.
Practicalities too, like breakfast. Does the price include breakfast?
And other meal plans. How much is half board, which is usually breakfast and dinner.
Or, and how much is full board? For all meals. Good for budgeting.
Then when you arrive, hello, I have a reservation. The name is Chris Smith. Standard check-in.
What if there's a problem like noise?
A polite approach. Excuse me, my room's rather noisy. Do you have anything a bit quieter? Avoids being confrontational.
Good advice. And asking staff for tips. Could you recommend a reasonably priced restaurant near here? Always worth asking.
Getting a taxi from the hotel. Could you call a taxi for me, please? Straightforward.
And managing bills, putting phone calls on the room bill. Could you put it on my bill, please?
Requesting a wake-up call. Could you give me an alarm call at 6 o'clock in the morning, please? Essential for early starts.
Dealing with noisy neighbors in the hotel itself.
Politely. Could you make a bit less noise, please? I'm trying to sleep.
And extending your stay. Could I extend my stay for 3 more days, please?
Or the classic mishap. Excuse me, I've locked myself out. Happens.
Before leaving, Check in the checkout time. What time do I have to check out by?
And the actual process. I'd like to check out, please.
Finally, querying the bill if something looks wrong. Could you tell me what this charge is for, please? A reasonable question.
Okay, on to restaurants. Booking first.
Hello, I'd like to book a table for 2 for 8 o'clock this evening, please. Clear, has all the details.
And upon arrival. Good evening. I rang earlier and reserved a table. Confirms your booking.
Once seated, maybe ask your companion, are you having a starter? Gets the ball rolling.
If you're unsure about the menu, especially unfamiliar cuisine, could you recommend something from the menu? Ask the waiter.
And if they suggest something specific, like chicken korma, you might ask, what exactly is chicken korma? Just to be sure.
Practical questions too, like, does it come with rice? Good to know.
Signaling you're ready to order. Could we order, please?
Ordering itself. I'd like the vegetable soup, please. Or if your friend ordered something appealing, I'll have the same, please. Efficient.
What if something's missing, like your drinks?
Excuse me, we ordered some drinks, but they haven't arrived. Polite follow-up.
When you're finished eating, no thank you. Could we have the bill, please?
And if there's a mistake on the bill,
Point it out tactfully. Excuse me, I think there's been a mistake. You've charged us for coffee and we didn't have any.
then paying. If you want to treat someone, let me get this.
If your friend insists. No, I insist.
And if they really insist, maybe concede gracefully. Oh, all right then, if you insist. But you must let me pay next time. Keeps things friendly.
All right, time for the pub. Suggesting going, do you fancy a drink? Very common casual phrase.
Offering to pay for the first round, I'll get these.
Standard practice among friends.
Seeing other friends there. Do you mind if we join you? Polite way to merge groups.
Need an extra chair? Ask nearby people. Is it all right if I take this chair? Friend finished their drink. Can I get you another drink? Typical offer.
Asking what people want when it's your round. What can I get you?
And clarifying sizes, especially for beer. A pint or a half. Common UK measures.
Navigating a crowded space needs a polite, excuse me.
If the bar staff asks who's next, and it wasn't you, I think you were first. Consider it.
Ordering around, 2 pints of lager and 2 Cokes, please. Straightforward.
Celebrating something like a new job. Cheers! Here's to your new job. The standard toast.
Declining another drink. No, I'm all right, thanks. Polite refusal.
Announcing it's your turn to buy. It's my round. What's everyone having?
Need a phone? Is there a payphone round here? Although maybe less common now.
True, but needing change might still happen. Could you change a £5 note? I need some change for the phone, or maybe for a machine.
Asking about food. Do you serve food? Good to check if the pub does meals.
Reporting a broken machine. Excuse me, the cigarette machine isn't working. Helpful to let staff know.
Overhearing someone talk about your hometown. Excuse me, I couldn't help overhearing that you're going to visit. A way to connect.
Finding lost property. Excuse me, I think someone's left this behind. Hand it to the staff.
And if you've lost something, excuse me, has anyone handed in a green scarf? Inquire at the bar.
Okay, let's hit the shops. Shopping scenarios. First, getting served.
If you're just browsing, the classic response to, can I help you, is, no thanks, I'm just looking.
Saw something in the window. Could I have a look at one of the watches in the window, please?
Or pointing to a specific item by price. Could you show me that camera, please, the one that costs £90? Very clear.
Asking if they stock something specific. Excuse me, do you have any black and white films?
And if another assistant approaches while you're already being helped, I'm being served, thanks. Polite clarification.
Now, deciding. If something's too expensive.
It's nice, but it's beyond my price range. Do you have anything a bit cheaper? Opens up alternative.
If you're unsure, I can't decide. Perhaps I'll go away and think about it. Totally okay to say.
Good idea to check the return policy first. Can I bring it back and get a refund if it's not all right? Smart question.
Be it of your mind. Okay, I'll take it.
Decided against it. I think I'll leave it. Thanks anyway. Polite decline.
Right. Specifically in a clothes shop. Want to try something on?
Could I try this jumper on, please? Standard request.
If it doesn't fit, it's too small. Do you have it in a larger size?
Like the style. Wrong color. Excuse me. Do you have these trousers in green?
Don't like the pattern. I don't like the pattern very much. Do you have any in plain green? More specific.
Need a different shade. I'm not sure about the color. Do you have them in a darker shade? Refining the request.
Item out of stock. Will you be getting any more in? If you're willing to wait.
Asking about the material. What's it made of?
Practical checks. Is it waterproof? Is it machine washable? Important for some items.
fit issues like sleeves too long. Would it be possible to have them altered? Good to ask about alteration services.
Okay, the bookshop scenario. Looking for a specific author, but unsure of the English title.
Explain your situation. I wonder if you could help me. I'm looking for a book by a Spanish writer, but I don't know the title in English. Sets the context.
Once identified, ask, do you have a copy in stock?
If not, could you order one for me? Common request.
And check the time scale. How long will it take to arrive?
And always good to thank helpful staff. Thank you. You've been very helpful.
Moving to the Photoshop. Less common now with digital, but still relevant for some. Developing film.
Could I have this film developed, please?
Getting extra prints from negatives? Could I have some copies made from these negatives, please?
Specifying quantity. Could I have 2 prints of each negative, please?
Requesting enlargements. Could I have these photos enlarged, please?
And asking about collection time. When will they be ready?
Now, the paying part of shopping. No price tag.
How much is this? Obvious but necessary.
Student discounts. Do you offer discounts for students? Worth asking.
Checking payment methods. Do you take Visa or whichever card you have?
Only have large notes. I'm sorry I haven't got anything smaller. Polite apology.
Finish shopping. No, that's all thanks. Signals the end of the transaction.
What about problems? Think you got the wrong change?
Address it politely. Excuse me. I think you've given me the wrong change.
Returning a gift that's the wrong size? Excuse me. This was a present, and it's too big. Could I change it for a smaller one? Explains the situation clearly.
Item bought is faulty. Excuse me, I bought this watch here last week and there's something wrong with it. States the issue.
Want your money back? I'd like a refund, please. Direct request.
And show proof of purchase. Here's the receipt. Essential for returns, usually.
Okay, shifting to services now. The post office. Sending mail quickly.
Could I send this first class, please? Standard UK option.
Sending internationally. Ask about delivery time. How long will it take to get there, whether it's a card or a parcel?
And postage cost, especially for parcels. Excuse me, how much would it cost to send these books to Japan?
Making the actual transaction. Could I send this parcel to Japan, please?
Large item won't fit in the box. Can I leave it with you? Ask at the counter.
Next service. The bank. Changing traveler's checks.
I'd like to change some traveler's checks, please.
Specify the amount. £100 worth, please?
Check the rate. What's the exchange rate?
And any fees. How much commission do you charge? Important for the total cost.
Specifying notes you want. 4 20s and 2 10s, please. Helps you get usable cash.
Okay. The ticket agency. Trying to get tickets for a show.
Do you have any tickets left for Cats on Friday night? Check availability first.
Got a budget. What do you have available under 25 pounds? Narrows it down.
Seat location. Are they in the circle or the stalls? Key theater sections?
And the view. Do you get a good view of the stage from those seats? Crucial question.
Check for different performance times, too. Is there a matinee performance? An afternoon show?
Hairdresser's next. Checking prices. How much is a cut and blow dry, please?
Booking an appointment. Could you fit me in tomorrow morning? Just want a small trim. Just a trim, please.
Need a bit more taken off. Could you take a bit more off the back, please? Be specific.
Leaving a tip when paying. Keep the change. Common way to do it.
Right, let's switch perspectives. Being a guest in someone's home. Accepting tea.
Yes, please. I'd love one. Standard polite acceptance.
Declining alcohol if driving. I'd better not drink because I'm driving. Responsible reason.
Asking about smoking. Do you mind if I smoke? Always ask first.
Need the loo. Could you tell me where the toilet is? Direct and necessary.
Offered food but already eaten. No, thank you. I've already eaten. Polite decline.
Only staying briefly. Let them know. I can't stay long. Manages expectations.
Time to leave approaching. I'd better be going soon. Gentle signal.
Ready to actually leave. Well, I really must go. Clear indication.
Feeling unwell suddenly. I'm afraid I don't feel very well. Could you call a taxi for me? Ask for help.
Host gives you a lift home. Thank you. I'm sorry to cause you so much trouble. Gratitude plus apology for inconvenience.
Now, having dinner as a guest. Food smells good.
Compliment it. That smells good.
Looks good when served. It looks wonderful. Hosts appreciate compliments.
Offered something you dislike, e.g. spicy food. No thanks, I'm not very keen on spicy food. Tactful decline.
Offered something you do want, e.g. carrots. Yes, please, I'd love some. Enthusiastic acceptance.
Need something passed at the table. Could you pass the salt, please? Polite request.
Tastes delicious. Say so. It's delicious. Direct compliment. One only a small dessert portion. Could I just have a small portion, please?
Full up. Decline more food politely.
Oh.
No, thank you. That was delicious, but I really couldn't eat another thing. Combines appreciation and refusal.
Offered more wine, want just a little. Just a drop, please. Clear measure.
End of the evening. Thanks. Thank you for a lovely evening. The meal was wonderful. Expresses gratitude.
Staying overnight. Asking to use the shower.
Would it be all right if I had a shower? Check timing.
Not sure how it works. Could you show me how it works, please? Practical request.
Feeling cold at night? I'm a bit cold at night. Would it be possible to have another blanket? Ask for what you need. Accidentally break something. I'm really sorry I've broken one of your cups. Can I buy you another one? Apologize and offer restitution.
Leaving after your stay. Thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed my stay. Sincere thanks.
Okay, flip side now. Being the host. Guest arrives.
Hello, come in. Welcome and greeting.
Offer to take their coat. Let me take your coat. Nice gesture.
Invite them to sit. Please sit down.
Make them feel comfortable. Make yourself at home. Classic phrase.
House a bit messy. I'm sorry about the mess. Polite acknowledgement.
Offer drinks generally. Can I get you something to drink?
Or, more specifically, would you like tea or coffee or something stronger? Covers options.
They choose coffee. Ask, do you take sugar? Standard follow-up.
Declined alcoholic. Offer alternatives. Would you like a soft drink?
Pouring a drink. Say when. Lets them control the amount.
Offering food generally. Can I get you anything to eat?
Offer snacks like crisps. Have a crisp. Encourages them.
Guests still there near dinner time. Would you like to stay for dinner? Hospitable invitation.
Offering more food during the meal. Yes, of course. Help yourself. Or, would you like some more? There's plenty. Generous offers.
Guest asks to use the phone. Yes, of course. Go ahead. Permission granted.
Guest asks to smoke, but you prefer they don't. I'd rather you didn't, actually. Polite but clear refusal.
Guest leaving after a party. Thank you for coming. Gracious reply.
Leaving in bad weather. Drive carefully. Thoughtful parting remark.
Instructing a babysitter. Help yourself to tea or coffee, won't you? Make them comfortable.
Suggesting entertainment. Feel free to watch the TV or a video.
Friend stayed very late. You're welcome to stay the night if you want. Offer accommodation.
Showing them the guest bed. Would you be warm enough? Check their comfort.
Saying goodnight. Good night. Sleep well. Standard wishes.
Next morning. Did you sleep well? Polite inquiry.
Right, let's shift to the workplace. Greetings first.
Arriving in the morning. Morning. Casual and common.
Leaving at the end of the day. See you tomorrow. Typical farewell.
Friday afternoon. Have a nice weekend.
And the response, thanks, you too.
Monday morning greeting. Morning, do you have a nice weekend? Starts the week's chat.
Someone visiting for an interview, unfamiliar with the place.
Offer to guide them. Would you like me to show you around? Helpful offer.
Asking how the interview went afterwards. How did it go? Natural question.
Need to interrupt a busy colleague quickly. Sorry to bother you. Could I just ask you a quick question? Polite interruption.
Colleague on a customer call. Another call comes in. I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's a phone call for you. Necessary interruption.
Need a private chat. Could I have a word with you in private? Request for confidentiality.
Asking about deadlines. When do you need it done by? Clarifies timing.
Tight deadline. Manage expectations. I'll see what I can do. Shows effort without overpromising.
Asking if something can be ready by a specific date. Is there any chance of it being ready by Friday?
Arriving for a meeting at reception. Good morning. I have an appointment with Mr. Woods at 11 o'clock. The name is Chris Smith. Gives all key info.
Ask something you don't know immediately. I'm afraid I don't know offhand. I could find out, though. Honest and proactive.
Discussing potential purchase costs, for example, machinery. What kind of price did you have in mind? Opens the discussion.
Asking about payment terms. Do you need payment in advance? Important clarification.
Arrive late for an appointment. Apologize. I'm sorry to keep you waiting. Necessary courtesy.
Showing someone into an office. After you. Have a seat. Polite directions.
Arrive late with a colleague who apologizes. Reassure them. That's all right. I've only just got here myself. Eases the situation.
Okay, let's talk about meetings. Getting things started.
Right then, shall we get down to business? Brings focus.
Stating the first agenda item. The first item on the agenda is new products. Clear start.
Checking understanding. Is that clear? Common check-in.
Thinks someone misunderstood. I think you've misunderstood. Tactful correction.
Didn't understand something yourself. I'm afraid you've lost me there. Could you go over that last part again? Polite request for clarification.
Someone uses a vague term like soon. Ask for specifics. What exactly do you mean by soon?
Want to confirm your understanding of a major point. I'm not sure I've understood properly. Are you saying that production should be stopped? Crucial check.
Want to add something to the discussion? Could I just add something? Polite interjection?
Suggesting a course of action. I think we should continue with the product. Direct suggestion.
Suggesting an alternative if an idea isn't popular. We could always sell it at cost price. Offers another option.
Expressing agreement simply. I agree.
Stronger agreement. I couldn't agree more. Emphatic.
Agreeing in principle, but not practice. I see your point, but I don't think it would work in practice. Nuanced view.
Disagreeing politely. I disagree with you there. Common phrase.
Moving the meeting along. Right, I think we should move on. Facilitates progress.
Last scenario in part 1. The language class. Want to know an English word for something in a picture?
What do you call this in English? Direct question to the teacher.
Asking for the meaning of a word, like muggy. What does muggy mean?
Asking for a synonym. What's another way of saying muggy?
Asking for the opposite. What's the opposite of muggy?
Needs spelling help. How do you spell it? Essential question.
Need pronunciation help. How do you pronounce this word?
Asking about word stress, example, hotel. Is the stress on the first or the second syllable? Clarifies pronunciation.
Didn't understand an explanation. I'm sorry, could you explain that to me again? Request for repetition.
Unsure about instructions for an exercise.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure what I have to do. Expresses confusion.
Need to leave the room briefly. Could I leave a room a minute, please? Ask for permission.
Phew. That really was a comprehensive tour of part 1, wasn't it? So many different situations covered.
It really is quite detailed. And you notice it's not just about getting things done, but often about how you say things, the politeness, the social aspect woven in.
Absolutely. Which leads us nicely into part 2, focusing specifically on those social interactions. Meeting people first.
Right. The guide mentions the very formal greeting, how do you do? If someone says that to you when introduced.
You just say it back. How do you do?
Exactly. It's not really a question like, how are you? It's purely a formal introduction response. Quite traditional.
More commonly, when introduced, you'd say,
Pleased to meet you. That's the standard polite response.
what if someone calls you by your surname and you prefer first names?
Just say, please call me Chris. Or your name, obviously. Friendly correction.
And the awkward moment when you forget someone's name.
Best to just admit it. I'm sorry, but I've forgotten your name. Much better than fumbling or avoiding it.
If someone looks familiar when you're introduced?
You could try, I think we've met before, haven't we? Gentle probe.
Making introductions yourself at, say, a party.
Good idea to check first. Have you met Anna before saying, can I introduce you to my sister? This is Anna. Anna, this is John. Helps ease it in.
Approaching someone you think you know. Like, you know John has a sister, but you haven't met her.
You could try. Hello, I'm Chris. You must be John's sister. A friendly assumption.
What if someone mistakes you for someone else, greets you enthusiastically as Joe?
Polite correction needed. I'm sorry, you must have mistaken me for someone else. Clears it up without embarrassment.
Seeing someone you only met once before.
A simple, nice to see you again works well. Friendly acknowledgement.
Bumping into an old friend you haven't seen for ages.
Genuine enthusiasm. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you for ages.
Asking someone to pass on greetings to a mutual friend.
Casually. Say hello for me, won't you? Or, slightly more formally, perhaps for older relatives or colleagues. Give them my regards, won't you?
Passing on regards from someone else.
Michael sends his regards. Simple message relay.
Formal evening greeting.
Good evening. Used like hello in the evening, say after 6 or 7 p.m. Importantly, it's a greeting, not a farewell.
Right. Good night is the farewell. Which brings us to goodbyes. Casual ones.
To a friend, just bye is fine.
Seeing them again later the same day.
See you later.
Friend pops round unexpectedly. Thank them as they leave. Thanks for calling round.
Especially if it was nice catching up. It was good to see you again. Adds warmth.
Staying at someone's place and just going out briefly.
Let them know. I'm just going out. I won't be long. Consider it.
Just been introduced and now parting ways.
Nice to have met you. Standard polite closing.
Had a really good chat. Acknowledge it. Goodbye. It's been very interesting talking to you. Thoughtful touch.
Hope to meet again. Hope to see you again sometime. Pleasant closing.
Giving out a business card.
Here's my card. You get in touch sometime. Professional but friendly follow-up.
Late evening farewell.
Good night. Universally understood.
Friend moving abroad. Goodbye. I'll really miss you. Sincere expression.
Encourage them to stay in contact. Keep in touch, won't you? Heartfelt request.
Friends setting off on a trip. Goodbye and take care. Caring send-off.
Playfully request a postcard. Send me a postcard, won't you? Lighthearted.
Saying goodbye to someone finishing a visit and traveling home. Have a good journey. Polite wish.
Okay, making conversation, or small talk. The guide suggests starting points.
Weather's a classic, isn't it? Waiting at a cold bus stop. It's cold today, isn't it? Common icebreaker.
Or in a long supermarket queue. It's busy today, isn't it? Shared observation.
Asking for the time is another one. Excuse me, do you have the time? Or even, excuse me, what time do you make it? As a variation.
Asking if someone's local. Are you from Oxford or wherever you are?
If they say they're from somewhere else, like Canada, show interest. Whereabouts in Canada keeps it going.
Asking tourists, is this your first visit to England? Or how long are you here for? Common questions.
Getting opinions. What do you think of London? Open-ended question.
Asking about jobs. What do you do for a living? Standard polite query.
Follow up with, do you enjoy your work? Shows interest.
Exchanging names naturally. I'm Chris, by the way. What's your name? Smooth transition.
Maybe invite someone you've been chatting to for lunch. I was just about to have lunch in a cafe near here. Would you like to join me? Friendly gesture.
What if someone asks a personal question you don't want to answer?
Polite refusal. I'd rather not say, actually.
And dealing with unwanted attention, someone trying to chat you up?
Be firm but polite. Could you leave me alone, please? I'm not interested. Sets boundaries clearly.
Right. Telephones. Lots here. Making contact with a friend first.
Call John. Wife answers. Hello, could I speak to John, please?
John answers. Hi, it's Chris here. I was just ringing to find out how you are. Friendly opener.
Calling late, maybe for a number. Acknowledge the time. I'm sorry to ring so late. I just wanted to ask you for that phone number.
Refer back to the reason even if the chat wanders. Actually, the real reason I phoned was because I need an address.
Calling about an ad, maybe for a flat. State the purpose. Hello, I'm ringing about the flat you advertised in the local newspaper.
Need to make a quick local call at a friend's house? Ask politely. Could I use your phone? I just need to make a quick local call.
Line engaged. Let the person know later. I couldn't get through. I'll try again later if that's all right.
Friend not in, flatmate answers. No specific message. Could you just tell him I called?
We're planning to call back. Could you tell him I'll ring back later?
Need them to call you back at a specific time. Could you ask her to ring me at 5 o'clock, please? Clear request.
Ask a friend to call you later. Could you give me a ring tonight? Casual request.
Phone rings. You think it's for you? I'll get it. Common response when answering.
Ending a friendly call. Bye. Thanks for ringing. Polite closing.
Have guests. Can't talk long. I've got some people here at the moment, actually. Can I call you back later? Manages the situation.
Expecting a call. Let others know. I'm expecting a call from Spain this evening, by the way. Helpful info.
Calls for someone else in the house. It's for you. Simple notification.
Need to get them from another room. Just a moment, I'll get her for you. Or, hang on, I'll see if she's in.
If they're out. I'm afraid she's out at the moment. Do you want to leave a message or shall I ask her to call you back later? Offers options.
Someone else wants a quick word with the caller. And would like a quick word with you. I'll just hand you over. Facilitates the switch.
Need an area code. Ask operator info. Could you tell me the code for Cambridge, please?
Dialed wrong number. Apologize. I'm sorry, I must have dialed the wrong number.
Someone calls your number by mistake. Inform them tactfully. I think you've got the wrong number.
Caller speaking too fast. I'm sorry, could you speak a bit more slowly, please? Reasonable request.
Bad line. Hard to hear. Could you speak up a bit, please? The line's not very good. Explains the difficulty.
Okay, shifting to business calls now. Answering the phone professionally.
Hello, this is Chris Smith. Can I help you? Clear and helpful opening.
If you are the person they asked for.
Simply, speaking, confirms it's you.
Colleague's line is busy. I'm afraid his line's engaged at the moment. Do you want to hold? Offers an option.
Need to know who's calling. Who shall I say is calling? Standard question.
Didn't catch the name. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Could you repeat it, please? Polite request.
Asking the reason for the call professionally. Could you tell me what it's in connection with?
Need their number for a callback. What number are you on? Direct question.
Colleague unavailable. I'm afraid he's unavailable at the moment. Would you like me to take a message? Or shall I ask him to call you back when he's free? Offers help.
Taking a message. Confirm. Right, I'll make sure he gets your message. Reassuring.
Ending the call professionally. Goodbye. Thank you for calling. Standard closing.
Now, making business calls. Returning a call.
Hello, it's Chris Smith here. I understand you called earlier and left a message. Provides context.
Person you need is out. Ask. Do you know what time he'll be back?
If unsure when they'll return, convey urgency if needed. Could you ask him to call me back as soon as possible?
Need a specific extension, like 356. Hello, could I have extension 356, please?
Need a department like sales. Could you put me through to the sales department, please?
Confirming you've reached the right person. Hello, is that Peter Jones?
Need someone dealing with a specific issue, like travel insurance. Hello, could I speak to someone who deals with travel insurance, please? Helps direct the call.
Urgent call. Need the manager. Could I speak to the manager, please? It's rather urgent. Explains the need for escalation.
Calling to ask about prices, state purpose clearly. Hello, I'm ringing to inquire about your prices.
Calling on behalf of someone else. Provide context.
Hello, I'm ringing on behalf of Jane Wood. It's about her appointment tomorrow. Helpful clarification.
Arranging meetings over the phone. Checked your diary. Suggest a day. Would Thursday be convenient?
Agreed on time and day. Confirm, I'll see you on Thursday at 3:55 then. Solidifies the plan.
Ending the call after confirming. I'll look forward to seeing you. Goodbye. Professional closing.
Need to cancel a meeting due to an unexpected issue. I'm afraid something's come up and I won't be able to make our appointment today. Necessary explanation.
Wanted to reschedule. Ask. Would it be possible to arrange another time?
Be considerate of their schedule. When would suit you best? Their suggestion doesn't work. Offer alternatives. Next week's a bit difficult for me, I'm afraid. Would the following week be possible?
A suggested time works. Confirm clearly. That would suit me fine.
Making a tentative arrangement. I'll pencil you in for tomorrow at 12 then, indicates it's not fully confirmed.
Someone cancels on you. Acknowledge politely. Well, thank you for letting me know.
Handling problems on business calls. Caller asks for someone who doesn't work there.
I'm afraid there's no one here by that name. Are you sure you've got the right number? Polite correction and check.
Call got cut off. Calling back. I'm sorry about that. We must have got cut off. Explains the situation.
Bad time for a colleague to talk, for example, during meeting. They might say, I'm afraid this isn't a good time to talk. Could you call back later?
Urgent mobile call during a meeting. Ask permission. I'm sorry, do you mind if I take this? It's rather important.
Client complains about non-delivery. Reassure and act. I'll send it off to you immediately and you should receive it tomorrow. Problem solving.
Handling another complaint. Respond professionally. Oh dear, I'm sorry to hear that. I'll look into it for you and get back to you as soon as possible. Shows concern and action.
Need a moment to find info. Ask for patience. Could you just bear with me a moment?
Don't have the info immediately. Set expectations. I'll have to get back to you on that, I'm afraid. Honest response.
Busy. Customer has a problem. Ask a colleague. Could you deal with this?
Yeah.
Delegate if necessary.
Had to reschedule multiple times. Apologize sincerely. I'm sorry to mess you around like this. Acknowledges the inconvenience.
Need to write things down during a call.
Signal first. Just a moment. I'll get a pen and paper.
Ready? Okay, go ahead.
Check accuracy. Can I just read that back to you? Good practice.
Need spelling. Could you spell that for me, please? Direct request.
Want all details again for notes. Could you run through the details again, please, so that I can make a note of them?
Need to know who to address something to? Who should I address it to?
Need written confirmation. Could you confirm that in writing, please? Standard business request. Also specify format if needed.
Like asking for more details generally. Did you send me some more details, please?
Or specifically by fax. Could you fax the details through to me, please?
Or email. Could you send it by email, please? Common nowadays.
Okay, next section. Helping and thanking. Offering help first. See someone struggling.
Do you need any help with that? Kind offer.
Offer to help with chores, like washing up. Can I give you a hand with the washing up? Common offer.
We're in a tough situation. Show support. Is there anything I can do to help? Thoughtful gesture.
Asking for a small favor yourself. Gentle start. Have you got a minute to spare?
Need help carrying something. Direct request. Could you give me a hand with this chair?
Now expressing thanks. Someone helped with washing up.
Simple. Thank you for doing the washing up.
Someone gave significant help. Express deeper gratitude. Thanks for all your help. I couldn't have done it without you.
Someone gave up their seat for you. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Polite acknowledgement.
Accepting a lift. Thanks, that'd be great. Common acceptance.
Appreciating someone keeping a secret. I'd appreciate that. Shows gratitude for discretion.
Offering help. Want to check it's convenient. Are you sure it's no trouble? Considerate question.
Declining help politely. No thanks. I can manage.
Declining a lift because you have other plans. Thanks for the offer, but my brother's taking me, explains the refusal.
Some tried to help but couldn't. Acknowledge effort. Oh, well, thanks anyway.
Feel you should also be thanking them. A simple thank you can emphasize reciprocal gratitude.
Responding to thanks. Standard reply.
You're welcome. Most common.
Or, more casually, if it was no big deal. That's okay.
If you enjoyed helping, my pleasure. Nice touch.
Happy to help again. Anytime. Friendly closing.
Responding to thanks and an apology for trouble. Reassure them. Don't worry, it's no trouble at all.
Planning free time now. Friends suggest watching TV. You're not keen.
I don't really feel like watching TV. Gentle decline.
Want to know what's on at the cinema? What's on at the cinema at the moment?
No strong preference for activity. Let friend choose. I don't mind. You choose. Flexible response.
Asking about weekend plans. What are you doing this weekend? Common question.
No specific plans. Nothing special. Typical answer.
Thinking about doing something, but not confirmed. I'm thinking of visiting Peter in Stratford. Tentative plan.
Decided, but not arranged yet. I'm going to visit Peter. Expresses intention.
All arranged and confirmed. I'm visiting Peter next weekend. Definite plan.
Plans change suddenly. Oh, in that case, I'll visit Annette in London. Quick adaptation.
Explain the change to someone else. I was going to visit Peter, but I'm going to visit Annette instead now. Clarifies the shift.
Asking about evening plans. Are you doing anything this evening?
Vague evening plan. I was thinking of going swimming. Why? Tentative plan plus query.
Making arrangements to meet. Ask. What time shall we meet? And whereabouts. Essential details.
Missed an event? Want to ask about it? I'm sorry I couldn't make it last night. How was it? Apology plus inquiry.
Suggesting your place for a party. We could have it in my house. Direct suggestion.
Suggesting a day for something? How about Friday? Casual suggestion.
Agreeing to a suggested day. That's fine by me. Clear agreement.
Offering to take responsibility. And you get cake. I'll do it. Direct offer.
Offering to get drinks. Do you want me to get the drinks? Helpful offer.
Making requests and responding. Borrowing a pen briefly.
Can I borrow your pen for a second? Casual request.
Borrowing an umbrella. Could I borrow your umbrella? Slightly more formal.
Borrowing something more personal valuable, e.g. Walkman. Could I possibly borrow your Walkman? Even more polite tentative.
Asking a potentially inconvenient favor. Soften it. Can I ask you a favor?
Asking a teacher to correct work. Could you correct this for me, please? Standard request.
More substantial requests, like correcting a whole letter. Would you mind correcting this letter for me? More considerate phrasing.
Someone making a distracting noise. Tapping pen. Polite request to stop. Excuse me, would you mind not tapping your pen on the table? I'm trying to read.
Asking to borrow institutional items. For G library cassette. Would it be possible to borrow this cassette? Appropriate phrasing.
Want to open a window in a public space? Check first. Would you mind if I open the window? Common polite check.
Or in an office? Maybe slightly more direct. Does anyone mind if I open the window?
Responding positively to would you mind type requests. Remember the negative phrasing? No, not at all. Means yes, it's okay.
Responding positively to could you requests. Yes, of course. I'd be glad to. Helpful reply.
Positive response to invitations like, would you like to see my photos? Enthusiastic, yes, I'd love to.
Want to do something but can't due to other commitments. I'd love to, but I've got a lot of work to do. Polite refusal with reason.
Too busy to fulfill a request. Translate a letter. Decline helpfully. I'm afraid I haven't got time at the moment. Is there anyone else you could ask? Suggests alternatives.
Discussing social news. Asking about someone's personality. For G, friend's sister.
What's your sister like?
Asking about physical appearance.
Yeah.
What does she look like? Different question.
Asking about someone's health. Phrygial, friend's mother. How's your mother? Carrying inquiry.
Responding to, how are you? Standard positive. I'm fine, thanks. And you? Always return the question.
Feeling just okay. So. How about you?
Less enthusiastic but acceptable.
Shared your news, want to hear theirs. What about you? Keeps conversation flowing.
General inquiry about someone's life. How are things? Common question.
Friend started a new job. Ask about progress. How are you getting on in your new job? Shows interest.
Asking for general updates. So what's new? Casual inquiry.
Catching up after a long time. What are you doing these days? Broad question.
Responding to bad news. Death. I'm sorry to hear that. Sympathetic response.
Acknowledging news you heard about? Accident. I was sorry to hear about your accident. Kind gesture.
Heard someone's moving. I hear you're moving. Acknowledges the news.
Congratulating on good news. Pregnancy. Congratulations, I'm very happy for you. Joyful response.
Promising secrecy. Reassure them. Don't worry, I won't say a word to anyone. Important promise. Reacting to positive news. Enthusiastic.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Reacting to surprising news. Simple. Really. Conveys reaction.
Reacting to very bad news. Sympathetic. Oh no, how awful.
Reacting to disappointing news. Oh, what a pity. Suitable response.
Offering reassurance in difficult times. Never mind. I'm sure things will work out all right. Supportive words.
Reassuring someone nervous. For example, driving test. Don't worry, I'm sure it'll be okay. Helpful encouragement.
Wishing luck just before an event. Good luck, I'll be thinking of you. Supportive message.
Asking for updates afterwards. Let me know how you get on, won't you? Shows continued interest.
Reacting to positive results, past test. Oh, that's brilliant. Well done. Enthusiastic praise.
Reacting to negative results. Failed test. Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. Better luck next time. Sympathetic and encouraging for the future.
Apologizing. Small mistakes. Using wrong pen.
I'm sorry, I used your pen by mistake. Direct apology.
Late due to traffic. I'm sorry I'm so late I got held up by the traffic. Explains the delay. Noise complaint. Apologize sincerely. I'm very sorry I didn't realize it was so loud. I'll turn it down.
Expressing deep regret. I really am very sorry. Conveys sincerity.
Minor inconvenience. Picking up wrong newspaper. I'm terribly sorry I didn't realize it was yours. Polite apology.
Responding to an apology for a minor accident. Reassure. Don't worry about it. Doesn't matter.
Friend lost something minor you lent them. Downplay it. That's all right. It was only a spare copy.
Someone apologizing excessively. Encourage them to stop. Forget about it.
Friend cancels plans. Understanding response. Never mind. Maybe another time. Still annoyed despite an apology. Use with caution. I should think so too. Expresses continued displeasure, but can sound unfriendly.
Short remarks now. Didn't hear someone.
Sorry. Very common request for repetition.
Sneezed. Excuse me. Polite acknowledgement.
Someone else sneezed. Bless you. Traditional response.
Warning of immediate danger. Watch out. Urgent warning.
Less urgent warning.
Low doorway.
Mind your head.
General caution. Icy path. Be careful.
Trying to avoid bad luck after mentioning something negative. Touch wood. Superstitious phrase.
Encouraging someone hesitant. Go on.
Urging someone to hurry. Come on.
Prompting departure. Let's go.
Reciprocating good wishes. Like, good luck. Same to you.
Handing something over. Here you are. Very common.
Changing the subject. Oh, by the way, signals a shift.
Expressing envy. Good holiday news. Lucky you.
Uncertain opinion. Museum entry fee. I think so. Expresses uncertainty.
Checking sincerity before accepting offered. Are you sure? Polite double check.
Strong agreement? Absolutely, or
I know.
or definitely.
Strong disagreement refusal. Certainly not. Firm response. Okay, briefly on advice. Asking for advice. Apply for job.
What do you think I should do? Do you think I should apply for it? Seeks opinion.
Advising someone to apply. I think you should apply for it. Direct advice.
Suggesting accepting an offer. If I were you, I'd accept it. Offers perspective.
Suggesting relocation for a job. Have you thought of moving to London? Broaches the idea.
Suggesting a solution to affordability issues. Moving. Why don't you get a lodger? Offers a potential fix.
Social comments next. Someone looks well.
Compliment them. You look well. Nice observation.
Friend seems unhappy. Ask caringly. What's the matter?
Complimenting a new haircut. You had your hair cut. It looks really nice. Acknowledges and compliments.
Admiring clothing. Compliment and ask. I like your jacket. Where did you get it? Combines praise and inquiry.
Responding to compliments on your English. Modest thanks. Thank you. It's very kind of you to say so.
Being tactful. Criticizing a book gently.
I thought it was a bit boring, actually. Softens the criticism.
Pointing out something is expensive politely. It's not very cheap, is it? Indirect approach.
Food too spicy. I quite like it, but it's a bit too spicy for me. Polite preference statement.
Flat isn't suitable. Decline tactfully. It isn't quite what I'm looking for. Avoids harsh criticism.
Clearing up a misunderstanding. I think there's been a misunderstanding. Avoids direct accusation.
And finally, basic health phrases. Feeling sick.
I don't feel very well. I think I'm going to be sick. Direct statement.
At the chemist for a sore throat. Do you have anything for sore throats? Asks for remedies.
Making a doctor's appointment. I'd like to make an appointment to see a doctor, please. Standard request.
Feeling better after being ill. I feel much better, thanks. Update on condition.
Wishing someone recovery. I hope you feel better soon. Kind wish.
Well, that really does cover an incredible amount of ground, doesn't it? From part 1 situations to part 2 social nuances.
It's really quite exhaustive, this guide. I mean, it's a fantastic resource for practical, everyday English.
Yeah, and going through it like this, you really see how it's not just about what to say, but often how you say it. those little politeness markers, the ways to be tactful.
Absolutely. It's those nuances that can make a huge difference in how smoothly your interactions go and ultimately how confident you feel using the language.
Definitely. So for you listening, maybe take a moment to think about which of these situations pop up most often in your own life.
Right. You could perhaps mentally rehearse some of those key phrases we talked about. Make them feel a bit more natural for you.
And maybe even, as a final thought, consider how these phrases or the general approach might differ in other English-speaking places, the US versus the UK or Australia.
That's a great point. Language is always evolving and varies by region. This guide provides a fantastic foundation, but there's always more to explore in the real world. Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're taking a fascinating journey into the English language. Specifically, we're looking at about 30 common verbs that, they act quite differently depending on if you're hearing British or American English.
Yeah, it's a really interesting area. We're looking at a curated list, basically, focusing on these differences.
Right, and the aim is really to unpack these variations, vocabulary, how they're used, sometimes even the past tense forms.
Exactly. It's all about giving you a clearer picture of both dialects.
And maybe help understand why these differences pop up.
Precisely. Understanding these, nuances, it can genuinely stop confusion.
Definitely.
And it adds precision, Plus, it offers some really fascinating insights into how language evolves.
We're hoping for some practical knowledge, quick and thorough, and maybe uncover some of those aha moments for you.
Yeah, those moments where you suddenly go, oh, that's why they say it like that.
Okay, so where should we start? Maybe with something that catches people out quite a bit.
Good idea. How about verbs with different past tense forms? That's a common one.
Perfect. Let's dive in. First example, how about burn?
Classic. Okay, so in British English, you're quite likely to hear burnt.
Right, like, oops, I burnt the toast.
Exactly. But switch over to American English, and you'll almost always hear burned.
She burned the toast. Same unfortunate outcome for the toast.
Yes, the toast suffers either way, but just a slightly different verb form.
And it's not alone, is it? Learn does something similar.
It does. You'll often hear learnt in the UK. He learnt Spanish quickly.
Whereas in the US, it's usually learned. He learned Spanish quickly.
And what's interesting, actually, is that a lot of older English verb forms ended in T.
Okay.
And it seems British English has sort of held on to some of those more than American English has.
That makes sense. Okay, what about dream? We all dream.
Right. British English often uses dreamt. I dreamt I could fly.
A common one. And American English
tends towards dreamed. I dreamed I could fly. Again, a small difference, but noticeable.
Yeah, definitely noticeable. And, both forms are generally understood everywhere, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's not usually a barrier to communication. It's more about preference.
Yeah.
What sounds natural in that region.
Like with spoil.
Exactly. Someone in the UK might say, oh dear, the milk's spoiled.
While in the US, you'd probably hear, the milk's spoiled.
Same result, sadly. Spoiled milk is spoiled milk.
Let's talk senses. Smell.
Good one. Often smelt in British English. It smelled funny in here.
Compared to smelled in American English, it smelled funny in here.
Yeah. It kind of feels like there's a bit of a trend in American English, maybe, towards making more verbs regular, adding that id.
That's a great point. Does spell fit that too?
It does. She spelt it wrong. It's quite common in the UK.
But in the US?
Usually she spelled it wrong.
Yep.
It's one of those little giveaways sometimes of where someone's from or where they learned English.
Now, dive is interesting. It's not quite the same pattern.
Right. Because dived, D-I-V-E, is correct and used in both places. He dived into the pool. But in American English, you very often hear dove, D-O-V-E. He dove into the pool.
So an irregular form that stuck around more in the US.
Seems like it. It's fascinating how these irregular forms can sometimes become more common in one dialect while the regular form takes over in another. Shows language is always, shifting.
Okay, so that covers some key past tense differences. Let's move on. What about verbs where the core meaning is the same, but the usage, maybe the frequency or the situation, differs?
Yeah, good category. Get is a prime example here.
Oh, definitely. God is everywhere in both, right?
Absolutely. But American English uses gotten a lot more.
Right. Especially when talking about acquiring something or a change happening.
Exactly. Like, he's gotten much better, or have you gotten the results yet? You hear that much more in the US.
Whereas in the UK, it would usually be, he's got much better, or have you got the results?
Precisely. Gotten isn't totally absent in British English, but it's, well, less common and maybe feels a bit more formal or specific when it does appear. A subtle marker.
Okay. What about fit?
Fit is interesting. The past tense is often just fit in both. The glove fit perfectly. But when you're talking specifically about clothing size in the US, you'll often hear fitted, like the tailor fitted him for a new suit, or that jacket fitted well.
Ah, okay. So fitted becomes a bit more specialized for clothes in the US.
Things that way, yeah.
And then there's quit.
Right.
Oh.
Quit is the most common past tense everywhere. He quit his job.
But quitted exists.
It does. Quitted. It's generally less common in both dialects, but you might hear it or see it in writing, perhaps a bit more readily in American English, though still rare.
So quit is the safer bet, usually.
Definitely.
Okay, let's switch gears. How about verbs used in common phrases or collocations, where the words just naturally go together differently?
Oh, yeah. This is where everyday language really shows its variations, like installing software.
Right. We'd all understand installing software.
Sure.
Yeah.
But in the US, you might also frequently hear setting up software.
Ah, setting up. Okay. A slightly different preference.
Just a slight nuance.
Oh.
Then there's the phone.
How we talk about calling someone.
In the UK, it's very normal to say, I'll phone you, or give me a ring later.
Phone and ring as verbs.
Yeah. But in the US, it's almost always call. I'll call you later. Call me when you arrive.
That's a really clear one. And posting letters.
Another classic. In the UK, you post a letter. Need to pop this in the post.
Well, in the US, you mail a letter. Can you mail this for me?
Same action, totally different verb choice. Being aware of these common collocations helps you sound more natural. Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, now what about verbs where the choice depends on the object? Like whether you're talking about a person or a thing.
Yes, hire is a great example.
How so?
Well, in the UK, you can hire a person, like employ them. We need to hire a new assistant. And you can also hire a thing, like a car. Let's hire a car for the weekend.
Right. But in the US?
You definitely hire a person. They hired a fantastic designer. But for the car, you'd almost always rent it. Let's rent a car.
So hire people, rent things, generally speaking in the US.
That's the common pattern, yeah. It shows how the verb choice is tied to the object.
Interesting. And speaking of rent, does that verb itself have different vibes?
It can, yeah, especially concerning time frame. In the UK, if you talk about renting property, it often implies a longer term. They rent a house in the suburbs, usually means, living there.
Okay.
In the US, rent can be long-term too, renting an apartment, but it's also very commonly used for short-term things. Let's rent a cabin for the weekend, or even rent skis for the day.
So rent in the US covers a broader time range, potentially.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. The context is important, but the default assumption about duration might differ slightly.
Good to know. Right, let's move to cases where British and American English just tend to prefer completely different verbs, even though they mean the same thing. Synonyms, basically.
Yeah, plenty of these. Think about repairing something.
Okay.
In the UK, you might ask someone, can you mend this hole in my jumper? Using mend.
Right. Men.
In the US, the go-to verb is almost always fix. Can you fix this? Mend is understood, but sounds a bit quaint, maybe, or very specific to sewing.
Kicks feels more general purpose in the US.
Exactly. What about disagreements?
Ah. In the UK, people might have our row, R-O-W. They had a big row last night.
Meaning an argument.
Yep. And in the US?
You'd just say argue. They argued last night. Row, meaning argue, isn't really common US usage.
Got it. And how about expressing, well, liking someone?
This is a fun one. In the UK, saying I fancy someone means you like them, often in a romantic way. He really fancies her.
Okay,
In the US, the direct way to say that is just, I like him, or I have a crush on her. Fancy in the US usually means wanting something. Do you fancy a drink? Or perhaps elaborate, a fancy restaurant. It doesn't typically carry that like meaning for people.
So using fancy for attraction is very British.
Very much so. These preferred synonyms really show how vocabulary evolves differently.
No. You mentioned confusion earlier. Are there verbs where the same word means drastically different things? Potentially awkward things?
Oh, absolutely. And this next one is probably the most famous or infamous example. The verb knock up.
Okay, knock up. How does that differ?
Right. In British English, to knock someone up simply means to wake them by knocking on their door. Quite innocent. Could you knock me up at 6:30 tomorrow?
Okay, like an old-fashioned alarm call.
Exactly. But in American English,
Well,
Knock up is slang for getting someone pregnant.
Oh, right. That's a significant difference.
Huge difference. Easily the source of major misunderstandings, potentially very embarrassing ones.
So context is absolutely crucial there. And maybe avoid using it if you're unsure of your audience.
Extremely crucial. Yes, probably best to err on the side of caution with that one.
Wow. Okay. Let's move to safer ground, perhaps. Phrasal verbs. Combinations of verbs and prepositions. Lots of variation here too, right?
Someday. Phrasal verbs are a goldmine for dialect differences. Take flirting, for instance.
Okay.
In the UK, you might hear about someone chatting someone up. He spent all evening trying to chat her up.
Right. Chat up.
In the US, the common equivalent is hit on. He was hitting on her all night.
Chat up versus hit on. Got it.
Same basic idea, different phrasal verb preference.
What about visiting someone informally?
In the UK, you might pop round or pop in. I'll pop round later for a cuppa. It implies a quick, casual visit.
Pop round. Sounds very British.
It does, doesn't it? The US equivalent would be more like drop by or swing by. Feel free to drop by anytime.
Drop by. Okay. Both sound casual, just different phrasing.
And reprimanding someone, telling them off.
In the UK, we literally say tell off. My mom told me off for being late.
Makes sense. In the US, while tell off is understood, a more common verb is probably scold. The teacher scolded the student. Or maybe chew out for something more informal and strong.
Scold. Okay. Interesting.
Again, same core meaning reprimand, but different common expressions.
Now, what about a single verb like chat? Does its main association differ?
That's a subtle but interesting one. Chat. In the UK, I think chat still strongly evokes an in-person, maybe relaxed spoken conversation. We had a nice chat over coffee.
Right.
In the US, while it definitely includes face-to-face talk, chat also very strongly, perhaps even primarily for some people, brings to mind online communication. Texting, instant messaging, let's chat later could easily mean text.
Ah, so the digital context is maybe more dominant in the US usage of chat.
It feels that way, yeah. Reflecting how integrated online communication is.
Okay. Here's a grammatical one. Auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. Any differences there?
Yes, a subtle one sometimes occurs with things being lost or missing. In the UK, you might hear, oh no, my keys have gone missing, using go.
Missing.
Or as in the US, the more standard phrasing is, my keys are missing, using be.
Are missing. It's a small structural difference in the verb phrase.
Exactly. It shows variations even in the grammar around the verbs.
Let's talk everyday actions. Waiting.
Ah, yes. In the UK, people form or stand in a queue, Q-U-E-E, and the verb is to queue. We had a queue for tickets.
Right, the queue. Very British.
It is. In the US, you wait in line or stand in line or you line up. Line is the key word. Get in line. We waited in line forever.
Queue is understood in the US, but sounds quite formal or foreign, maybe.
Yeah, it's not the everyday term you'd typically use.
Okay. How about washing? Specifically, baths.
Another small but consistent one. In the UK, you have a bath. I'm going to have a nice hot bath.
Whereas in the US,
You take a bath. The kids need to take a bath.
have a bath, take a bath. Simple difference, but very common.
Often one of the first things people notice.
Even set phrases can vary slightly, can't they? Like making decisions.
Yes. In the UK, you might sometimes hear, take a decision, especially in more formal or business contexts. The board will take a decision next week.
Okay, take a decision.
But in the US, the standard, almost universal phrase is, make a decision. We need to make a decision soon.
Make a decision feels much more common overall, even in the UK now, perhaps.
Possibly, yes. But take a decision is still certainly out there as a British variant.
Right. And finally, one more common area, employment ending.
Ah, yes. Losing your job. In the UK, a common informal term is to be sacked or get the sack. He got sacked yesterday.
Sacked.
In the US, the equivalent common term is to be fired or get fired. She was fired for misconduct.
Fired. Again, different vocabulary for the same unpleasant event.
Exactly.
Wow, so we've covered quite a range there, from past tenses to completely different words.
We have, and it really underscores that while it's all English, it's incredibly rich and varied.
These differences between British and American English, even in just these 30 or so common verbs, are, well, subtle sometimes, but significant.
Definitely. And paying attention, knowing these variations, it really can make your communication clearer, more effective.
Yeah, hopefully walking through these has given you some of those aha moments we talk about.
Understanding why you might read one thing but hear another, or why something you say might sound slightly off in a different place.
So the key takeaway is really about appreciating this variety.
Absolutely. You've hopefully got a deeper feel now for these specific verbs, and that equips you with practical knowledge to navigate these dialects better.
And maybe just appreciate the intricacies of the language itself.
Yeah, it's constantly evolving.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. How might these small language differences, like choosing fix over mend or cue over line up, how might they reflect broader cultural viewpoints? Or perhaps trace back to different historical paths the language took?
Ooh, that's a deep question.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other tiny variations in language might actually open up surprising windows into different cultures or histories?
Definitely food for thought. Language is so much more than just words.
Indeed. Well, thanks for exploring the deep dive with us today. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a bit of a shortcut, really, straight into some of the, the fiddly bits of English, the differences between British and American usage.
Yeah, the ones that can sometimes trip you up.
Exactly. We've got about 50 word pairs here, taken from various sources listing these differences. So if you've ever been slightly confused or you're just curious, well, you're in the right place.
Definitely.
Our mission, if you like, is to unpack these words' pronunciation, meaning how they're actually used, give you a real feel for them.
And it's fascinating, isn't it? Because they're not just random swaps. There's usually a bit of history or culture behind why one word stuck in the UK and another in the US.
Like linguistic detective work?
Kind of, yeah. Finding clues in everyday words.
Okay, let's start with professions then. Say you're in the UK, need some legal advice, maybe buying a house.
Right.
You'd probably look for a solicitor. That's so dissociative, so you might hear, she spoke to her solicitor about the contract.
Solicitor. Got it.
But if you're stateside, similar situation, you're looking for an attorney.
That's attorney.
Attorney.
Yeah.
So the sentence might be, he hired an attorney to represent him in court.
And the thing is, while both are lawyers, the roles aren't quite identical, especially historically.
Yeah.
In the UK, you had solicitors for sort of general advice and prep work, and then barristers who argued in the higher courts.
Right.
Whereas attorney in the US is, well, a broader term. It covers more ground, reflects a slightly different legal system structure.
Interesting. Okay. From the law courts to the calendar, that lovely season when the leaves change color.
Ah, yes.
In the UK, we call it autumn. The leaves fall in autumn.
Classic.
But over in the US, it's fall, as in we love to travel during the fall.
And what's really interesting there is that fall is actually the older English term.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from fall of the leaf.
Yeah.
Autumn came in later from French. So the US kind of stuck with the older version in a way.
Huh. Didn't know that. Okay, let's switch gears. Things that move us around. Big vehicles carrying goods.
Right.
In the UK, that's a lorry. That's lorry. The lorry was parked on the motorway.
Lorry. Yep.
But in the US, it's a truck. The truck delivered the goods at noon. Simple swap.
It is. And it extends to parts of the car too. The storage bit at the back.
Ah, yes. In the UK, that's the boot. Bus, put your bags in the boot.
Boot makes sense.
Whereas in the US, it's the trunk, Fosh. The groceries are in the trunk.
Trunk. Two completely different words for the same space.
And the roads themselves, the big fast ones, in the UK, it's a motorway. The motorway is busy.
Motorway.
But in America, it's a highway. The highway is blocked. Good to know if you're driving over there.
Definitely. And when one road goes over another one,
Oh, yeah.
in the UK, that structure is often called a flyover.
The slum, Joe. Drive over the flyover.
Flyover. Okay. But in the US, you'd probably call it an overpass.
Yeah.
Go under the overpass.
Yeah.
One goes over, one passes over. Similar idea, different focus.
Subtle. And what about those cars with the extra space at the back? Good for families or luggage.
Ah, the long ones.
Yeah. In the UK, an estate car. So, you drive an estate car.
A state car. Sounds quite grand.
And the US, it's a station wagon. Has a strawn.
She has a station wagon.
Station wagon. You can almost picture different eras or lifestyles with those names, can't you? A state car sounds a bit more country manner.
Maybe. Well, station wagon feels very American road trip.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move indoors. Where you live. If it's a self-contained unit in a bigger building,
Right.
in the UK, we usually say flat.
Flat? Common as muck.
But in the U.S., it's an apartment. They just moved into a new apartment?
Apartment, yeah. And sometimes flat in the UK might imply it's all on one floor, maybe more than an apartment does in the US, but generally they mean the same thing. Fair enough. Now, time off. Getting away from it all.
The best bit.
In the UK, you go on holiday. They're going on holiday to Spain.
Holiday. Love that word.
But in the US, it's a vacation. Mexicans, they're going on vacation next week.
Vacation. Sounds a bit more planned, maybe.
Perhaps, and a specific length of time off 2 weeks.
Ah, yes.
In the UK, we often say fortnight. We'll be on holiday for a fortnight.
Fortnight. Such a great word. Doesn't get used much in the U.S., though.
No, you just say 2 weeks.
Yeah, plain old 2 weeks.
Right. Time for snacks. Crucial differences here. With your tea in the UK, you might have a biscuit.
Bosk. Would you like a biscuit with your tea?
A biscuit. Lovely. Sweet, usually crumbly.
Like, ask for a biscuit in the U.S.
Oh, be careful. You'll get something totally different. More like a savory scone, often served with gravy.
Exactly. What the U.S. calls a cookie a skicky, like he grabbed a chocolate chip cookie, that's our biscuit.
That's a classic confusion point. Cookie versus biscuit. Very different things. Definitely one to watch. And staying sweet. Those sugary treats, boiled sweets, chocolates, etc. In the UK, collectively, they're sweets. Sweets. He loves sour sweets.
Sweets, yeah.
But in the U.S., it's generally candy. It's candy. The kids ate too much candy.
Candy, yeah. Much broader term over there.
Okay, let's think about things arriving at your house. Through the letterbox.
Okay.
In the UK, it's the post. P.S. The post arrives at 9
The postman brings the post.
Right, but in the U.S., it's the mail. Meal. The mail is late today.
Mailman brings the mail. Or mail carrier, I suppose.
Same system, different noun. Now, paying for things, couple of key ones here. That paper slip you write.
Yep.
In the UK, it's spelled C-H-E-Q-U-E, a check, a check. He paid by check.
Check. Looks a bit French.
But in the US, same sound, tick, but spelled C-H-E-C-K, a check. She wrote a check for the rent.
Just a spelling thing, but yeah, noticeable.
And then in a restaurant, when you want to pay.
Ah, yes. Important.
In the UK, you ask for the bill. Can I have the bill, please?
The bill. Standard.
But in the US, you ask for the check. Can I get the check?
Right. Using the other check can definitely cause a flicker of confusion if you use the wrong one.
It can. And actual paper money.
Yep.
In the UK, you'd have, say, a 20-pound note. In the US, it's a $20 bill.
A bill.
Yeah.
So bill for money, check for restaurant payment. Got it.
Right. Okay, entertainment. Going out to see a film.
Okay.
In the UK, you go to the cinema. We went to the cinema last night.
Cinema. Nice.
In the US, it's usually the movie theater. Says he saw the movie at the theater.
Movie theater. Though theater in the U.S. can also mean live stage plays, right?
Yeah, context usually makes it clear, though. And staying in, watching the box.
Ah, the TV.
Well, in the UK, informally, it's often the telly. Sorry. What's on the telly tonight?
Telly. Love that. Very British.
Whereas in the US, it's just TV.
That's
This is we watched a new show on TV.
straightforward TV. No messing about.
Right. Time to talk about rubbish, waste disposal.
Ooh, glamorous.
In the UK, you take out the rubbish. Take out the rubbish, please.
Rubbish.
But in the US, it's trash. Trash. He threw it in the trash.
Trash. Sounds a bit harsher somehow.
Maybe. And where does it go? The container. In the UK, often a dustbin. Dustbin. Throw in the dustbin.
Dustbin. Feels a bit old-fashioned now, maybe. Though still used.
True. Wheelie bin is common now. But in the US, it's a garbage can. It's in the garbage can.
Garbage can. Or just trash can. Either works.
Okay. Fueling the car. That liquid gold.
Vroom, vroom.
In the UK, it's petrol. It's petrol. We stop for petrol. In the US, it's gasoline. They usually just call it gas. They filled the car with gas.
Gas. Even though it's liquid. Funny that.
It is, isn't it? Right, clothing. This one's important. Leg coverings. In the UK, trousers.
His trousers are too long.
Trousers.
Definitely.
In the US, these are pants. Pants. She bought a new pair of pants. Now the crucial bit.
Ah, yes. The pants danger zone.
In the UK, pants means underwear.
Right. What Americans might call underpants or briefs.
Yeah.
So asking a Brit where they bought their nice pants could get awkward.
Very awkward. So UK trousers, US pants. UK pants, US underpants. Remember that one?
Duly noted.
Okay, when it gets colder, that knitted thing you put on.
Yep.
In the UK, it's a jumper. I knitted this jumper myself.
Jumper. Cozy.
In the U.S., it's a sweater, Seastern. She wore a red sweater.
Sweater. Pretty straightforward swap.
And on your feet. For sports or casual wear.
Okay.
In the U.K., trainers. Fascist ones. I bought new trainers.
Trainers. Because you train in them, I guess.
Makes sense. But in the U.S., they're usually sneakers. He wore red sneakers.
Sneakers. Because they're quiet. You can sneak around.
That's the story, yeah. Okay, navigating buildings, going up.
Without stairs.
Yes. In the UK, you take the lift. Take the lift to the 3rd floor.
Lift. Short and sweet.
In the US, it's the elevator. Use the elevator instead of the stairs.
Elevator.
Ah.
So it's a bit more, I don't know, mechanical.
Maybe. And getting water in the kitchen or bathroom, the fitting.
Right.
In the UK, it's a tap. Turn off the tap.
Tap. Hot and cold taps.
In the US, it's a faucet. The faucet is leaking.
Faucet. Another clear difference.
And where you hang your clothes, not the rail, but the piece of furniture or built-in space.
Okay.
In the UK, often a wardrobe, usually freestanding. The wardrobe is full.
Wardrobe, like the Lion, the Witch, and the...
Exactly. But in the US, it's more likely a closet, often built in. I hang the shirts in the closet.
Closet. Yeah, wardrobe sounds a bit more specific in the US, maybe like an antique.
Right. Moving on to childcare. Babies. That essential absorbent item.
Oh, yes. Very essential.
In the UK, it's a nappy. In nappies, change the baby's nappy. In the US, it's a diaper. The baby needs a new diaper.
Diaper. Completely different word.
And that thing they suck on for comfort.
The pacifier.
Exactly. In the UK, it's often called a dummy. The baby dropped his dummy.
Dummy.
But in the US, it's a pacifier. She gave her a pacifier.
Pacifier seems a bit more descriptive of what it does, maybe.
Perhaps. Okay, need light in the dark, portable light source.
Yep.
In the UK, grab a torch. Use a torch in the dark.
Torch. Like the Olympic torch, but smaller.
Ah! And in the US, it's a flashlight. Grab the flashlight from the drawer.
Flashlight. Again, quite descriptive.
Back to cars briefly. The cover over the engine.
Right, at the front.
In the UK, it's the bonnet. He lifted the bonnet to check the engine.
Bonnet. Like an old-fashioned hat?
Sort of. In the US, it's the hood. HD. Pop the hood and let's look.
Hood. Like on a jacket.
Okay. And where do you leave the car? The designated area?
Parking space.
In the UK, it's a car park. The car park is full?
Car park. Makes sense.
In the US, it's a parking lot. We found a spot in the parking lot.
Parking lot. Equally logical.
Crossing the road safely. Those painted lines.
Pedestrian crossing.
In the UK, often specifically a zebra crossing.
Yeah.
Sorry, being pushed in because of the stripes. Wait at the zebra crossing.
Zebra crossing. Very visual name.
But in the US, it's generally a crosswalk. Use the crosswalk when it's safe.
Crosswalk. More about the action, perhaps.
Where do you get your prescriptions filled?
Pharmacy.
Well, in the UK, traditionally, the chemist, I picked it up from the chemist, though pharmacies use too now.
Chemist. Yeah, it feels very high street.
In the US, it's often a drugstore. You can get that at any drugstore, which also sells lots of other things too.
Right. Drugstore is very common. Pharmacy as well, but drugstore feels more general.
Buying tickets for travel. You want to go somewhere and come back.
Okay.
In the UK, you buy a return ticket. I bought a return ticket to Oxford.
Return ticket. Simple.
In the US, it's a round-trip ticket. Do you need a round-trip ticket?
Round trip. Paints a picture of the journey.
Directions now. Opposite way to a clock's hands.
Turning left. Ish.
Huh. In the UK, anti-clockwise. And guess what's when? Turn the key anti-clockwise.
Anti-clockwise. Against the clock.
In the US, counterclockwise.
Costa Casa Gallus wise. Twisted counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise. Same meaning, different prefix.
And if the road ahead is blocked and you have to go a different way?
An alternative route.
In the UK, you follow the detour. Take the diversion due to roadworks.
Diversion.
In the US, you follow the detour.
Yeah, exactly.
Follow the detour signs.
Detour. Both get you around the problem.
Right. Education. This is where it gets really interesting and potentially confusing.
Ah, yes. Brace yourself.
In the UK, a public school is actually a very exclusive, private, fee-paying school, like Eton or Harrow. He studied at a public school.
Right. Totally counterintuitive if you're coming from the U.S. system. Public meaning open to the public if they can pay, essentially, historically. Exactly. Whereas in the U.S., a private school sober school is the fee-paying one, not funded by the government. He goes to a private school, and a public school in the U.S. is the state-funded free one.
It's almost a complete reversal. That's probably the single biggest point of confusion between the two systems' terminology.
Definitely. And the head person at a school.
The boss.
In the UK, the head teacher.
The shade.
The head teacher are called the parents.
Head teacher. Leader of the teachers.
In the US, the principal. The principal held a meeting.
Principal. The principal person in charge.
How well you did in exams, your results.
Yep.
In the UK, you get marks. She got good marks in math.
Marks out of 100. Or percentages.
But in the US, you get grades. Usually letters, A, B, C.
Yeah.
You earn high grades.
Grades. Yeah, the grading system. Different way of expressing it.
Preparing for exams, that intense period of study.
Cramming. Yeah.
In the UK, it's called revision. She's doing revision for exams.
Revision. Revising the material.
In the US, it's just studying. Like, he's studying for finals.
Studying. Seems a bit broader, maybe. Revision feels specifically about going over old stuff.
Fair point.
Yeah.
And the year group you're in at secondary school. Towards the end,
Okay.
in the UK, you might be in the sixth form. She's in the sixth form. That's typically years 12 and 13.
Sixth form. A specific stage.
In the US, it's by grade number, so the equivalent would be 11th and 12th grade.
Boat.
He's in 12th grade.
Just sequential numbers. Simpler maybe, but less traditional.
And that little pink or white block for rubbing out pencil mistakes?
The essential tool.
In the UK, it's a rubber. I bet you use a rubber to fix the mistake.
A rubber.
In the US, it's an eraser. Grab an eraser. Careful with rubber in the US. It can sometimes refer to a condom.
Another potential awkward moment. Eraser is safer stateside.
Good tip. Okay, sports, the big one. Round ball, kicking game.
The beautiful game.
In the UK and most of the world, it's football. He plays football every weekend.
Football, obviously.
But in the US, because they have American football, they call it soccer. Shastoskas. She joined a soccer team.
Soccer, yeah, that's a well-known one. Because there's endless debate online.
Isn't it just? Right, bags. What a woman might carry her essentials in.
Right.
In the UK, generally a handbag. She left her handbag on the chair.
Handbag.
In the US, often a purse. Her purse was stolen. Though purse in the UK usually means just the small thing you keep money in inside the handbag.
Right, another nuance. US purse. UK handbag. UK purse, US wallet or coin purse, roughly.
Roughly, yeah. And that small bag worn around the waist, popular in the 80s, making a comeback.
Oh, those things.
In the UK, a bum bag, Safaston Bay. He wore a bum bag on holiday.
Bum bag. Because...
Well, you know.
But in the US, it's a fanny pack. A fanny pack. She carried her phone in a fanny pack. Again, be careful, fanny has a very different, much ruder meaning in the UK.
Low tier, yes. Fanny pack is definitely US-only terminology you'd want to use. Bum bag is safer internationally.
Absolutely. Healthcare. Visiting your local doctor for a checkup.
Okay. In the UK, you often go to the local surgery. She went to the local surgery. Even if no actual surgery happens there, it's the building.
The surgery, right.
In the US, it's the doctor's office. SS Sarah's office. He called the doctor's office. Surgery in the US almost exclusively means the operation itself.
Yeah, going to the surgery in the US would sound like you're heading for an operation theater. Doctor's office is clear.
Public transport in cities. Underground rail systems.
Like the tube in London.
Exactly. In the UK, generally the underground. Starnampton, or the tube specifically in London. Take the underground to King's Cross.
Underground. Makes sense.
In the US, it's usually the subway. I use the subway every day.
Subway. Also logical.
Personal grooming. Getting your hair cut or styled.
Pampering time.
In the UK, often a salon. She has an appointment at the salon.
Salon.
In the US, you might also hear beauty parlor. She's at the beauty parlor. Salon is common too, but parlor has a slightly more maybe traditional ring to it sometimes.
Yeah, maybe. Salon feels a bit more modern, or unisex perhaps.
Yeah.
Parlor sounds a bit more old school beauty shop.
Fair enough. And finally, job hunting. That document summarizing your experience and qualifications.
The crucial paper.
In the UK, it's your CV. Stands for Curriculum Vitae. Send in your CV.
CV, standard.
In the US, it's usually called a resume. Tarches of vite. Update your resume.
Resume, from the French for summary.
Although a CV in the US sometimes refers to a much longer, more detailed document used in academia. So a standard US resume is generally shorter than a standard UK CV.
That's a really important distinction for anyone applying for jobs internationally. Tailor it.
Absolutely. And wow, that's our 50 pairs. We've covered quite a bit of ground there.
We really have, from lawyers to lorries to nappies, diapers.
Huh. Exactly. Hopefully this deep dive has, cleared up a few things and maybe given you a better sense of those little differences.
It really highlights how the same language can evolve in parallel, doesn't it? Shaped by different histories, different cultures.
It really does. It's not just vocabulary. It's like tiny windows into cultural nuances. So a final thought for you listening. As you go about your week, maybe watching a movie, reading something online, or even chatting with someone, see if you can spot some of these.
Yeah, notice the differences.
And maybe think about why they might be different. What does it tell us about the places and the people? It just shows language is always alive, always changing.
Absolutely. It's a fascinating ongoing process.